Hello, today I'm going to be interviewing Debbie Marquez, who is a nurse practitioner at San Jose Kaiser, and she specializes in the teen clinic. So I'm going to ask her a few questions. Debbie, you see teens. How do you get them to open up to you about sex?
Good question. It depends. Sometimes if I know them for a long time, I'll just come out and ask them. But what I actually usually do, we have a questionnaire, and the questionnaire has questions about your period, do you drugs, alcohol, I'd ask about depression, and then there's a question that says, do you have sex? And it says anal, vaginal, or oral sex. So the teens have an opportunity to answer these questions. Most of the time the physicals, most of the time the teens, depending on their age, it'll all be negative. And if it is, I kind of also will look at that, and I bring up the subject maybe by using another handout that we give. It's called Tips for Teens, and on the back of it there's a handout that talks about the morning after pill and the most common STDs. So I usually ask the teens, can you read this? Some teens are very shy and don't want to talk. Some are very open, so that kind of is like my icebreaker. So usually I have the teens read it out loud to me and say, can you read these 2 paragraphs? And they do, and then I ask them, have you ever heard about the morning after pill? Some say yes, some say no. If they don't know about the morning after pill, we talk about it more. Also, it gives me opportunity to ask them about, have they had family life class, any kind of sex ed or prevention at school. So that's usually kind of how I go ahead and get that subject opened.
How do you encourage them to communicate with their peers or parents or partners?
So a lot of times, if the girl says, if a teen is not sexually active at that point, I encourage to wait. But I also encourage them to know what to do in case they have an accident. A lot of teens say, oh, I'm not going to have sex, but we all know that at the heat of the moment, sometimes that all goes out the door. So if that happens, where can they go to get safe, confidential services? So in teen clinic in the state of California, teens can come in from 12 to 17 for birth control, morning after pill, condoms, without a parent's permission. So I always want to know, let them know where to find the nearest Planned Parenthood. I also encourage them to use the Planned Parenthood website, because they actually have these 1-minute YouTube videos on different birth control. And if it's a teen that's already having sex, I kind of role play with them. I said, okay, so do you guys use a condom? Most of the teens, probably 50 to 75% use condoms. So if they don't say 100%, I say, okay, let's pretend, you're having sex, or you're going to. So sometimes I'll have the teens that say, girls can always encourage guys to use a condom by doing that during their sex play. Most guys like to be touched in the penis, so they can learn how to do that. I kind of show them you can do that with your eyes closed and how to roll down the condom. But making sure the girls know how to use a condom is real important.
What is the parents' perception or perspective? How do they feel about their teenagers being sexually active?
So I've worked at the teen clinic for about 16 years, and so you're going to hear all kinds of opinions or parents' view. I mean, some parents have had children young, so they're pretty good about making sure they want their child to know what to do if they're going to have sex. Some parents think they shouldn't have sex till they're married. Some parents are okay with me bringing up the subject. So you kind of get a little bit of everything. Here at San Jose, we do have a teen clinic, so it's easier for teens to come back. They don't need their parents' permission. So once they know that, they're free to come in and get that kind of services if they want. So really just depends on the family and, about parents' perception. I think most parents don't want their kids to have an accidental pregnancy, so sometimes it's hard to bring up, but, they know they can come in.
And how much do the patients actually know about sex?
Good question, too. Using those 2 questions when I ask them what's the morning after pill and about if they know about chlamydia, which is the most common STD, you can kind of get a sense how much the kid might know. Some high schools have no sex ed classes anymore, which is really hard. Some high schools only have it at 9th grade, and a lot of these kids are already older, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, and haven't had any family life or sex ed class. So I really encourage them to use the Planned Parenthood website, and also Kaiser has a teen website. so they can look up all the information. They can use their iPhone. I mean, getting information nowadays is very easy, and how to get their information.
So the majority, I would say about half of my class, are college freshmen. What advice do you have for them about communication and sexuality?
I think one thing, if somebody's really uncomfortable themselves talking about sex or sexuality, is to take a sex ed class or a human sexuality class at the college level. Because at that, when you're in college, you over 18, so the class is very interesting. You learn more, of course you learn the physiology about sex, but you also learn your own personal views. You learn more about sex. Sure, it's, it's personal and it's different for everybody, but human sexuality is an important thing to understand about yourself. So, and then the other thing in most colleges, there are health clinics that you can go in and get condoms and birth control, and usually it's free. You can get the morning after pill when you're over 17. You can buy it at a pharmacy without a prescription, or you can get it free from your health clinic at school. So I encourage teens, college students to also visit their health clinic there.
Okay. Thank you.